Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Bhallabha Girivardhari Gopijana Bhallabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana Jasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari
Gopijana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasoranandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Sri Radha Madhava ki Sri Radha Giridhari ki srimadbhagavatam ki Dhruva Maharaj ki Govardhanandi Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj ki Jaya Jashoda Shri Mad is divine grace of Chalana Arvind Bhaktivinoda Swami Shri Mubarak ki Jai Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivraj ki Jaya Jashoda Shri Mad Divine grace Srila Bhakti Saranda Saraswati Gosa Maharaj Mubarak ki Jai Kantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Samveda Bhakti ki Jai Go Premanandi All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, assembled devotees, all glories, Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Thank you. Ecstatic? Ecstatic. Static or ecstatic? That's it. Same verse. So we're reading in the srimadbhagavatam. It's the 4th canto, 8th chapter, text or verse 24. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Maskritam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jambudiyadiyat. So, today's verse. Maitreya Uvacha. Evam sanjalpitam matur akarnyartha gamam vachaha saniyam yatmanatmanam nishkakrama pitu purat that should be a C. Whoops, you're missing an A there too. It's Nisca, krama, nishchakrama. Nishchakrama pitu purat.
Nishchakrama pitu purat.
You're dieting on the letters there. Okay. Maitreya Uvacha. Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Akarnyartha gamam vachaha.
Akarnyartha gamam vachaha.
Saniyam yatmatmana. Excuse me. Saniyam yatmatmana. Atmam.
Saniyam yatmatmana.
Nishchakrama pitu purat. Maitreya Uvacha. Evam sanjalpitam matur. Akarnyartha gamam vachaha. Saniyam yatmatmanatmanam. Nishchakrama pitu purat. Anyone like to chant? Excuse me.
Maitreya Vacha.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Akarnyartha gamam vachaha.
Akarnyartha gamam vachaha.
Sanniyam yatmanatmanam.
Sanniyam yatmatmanatmanam.
Nishchakram pitu purat.
Nishchakrama pitu purat. Maitreya Vacha. Evam sanjalpitam matur. Akarnyartha gamam vachaha. Saniyam yatmatmanatmanam. Nishchakrama pitu purat. Initiated devotees like to chant? Evam sanjalpitam matur. Akarnyartha gamam vachaha. Saniyam yatmatmanatmanam.
Just one.
Nishchakramam pitu purat. Cha.
Evam sanjalpitam matur.
Evam sanjalpitam matur. Akarnyartha gamam vachaha. Saniyam yatmatmanatmanam. Nishchakrama pitu purat. Anyone else?
Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Vacha.
Evam sanjalpitam matur
evam sanjalpitam matur
akarnyartagamam vachah
arnatam kamam bachaha
saniyam yatmanatmanam
saniyam yadvatmanatmam
nischakrama pitu purat
nischakrama pitu purat
Maitreya
Vacha evam sanjalpitam matur akanyarta gamam bacha saniyam yatmatmanatmanam nischakrama pitu purat. Word for word. Maitreya Vacha.
Maitreya Vacha
The great sage Maitreya said,
the great sage Maitreya said,
evam, thus, sanjalpitam, spoken together, matahu, from the mother, akarnya, hearing, agamam, purposeful, bachaha, words, saniyamya, controlling, atmana, by the mind, atmanam, own self, nishchakrama, go out, pituhu, of the father, purat, from the house. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. The great sage Maitreya continued, the instruction of Dhruva Maharaja's mother, Suniti, was actually meant for fulfilling his desired objective. Therefore, after deliberate consideration and with intelligence and fixed determination, he left his father's house. Please repeat. The great sage Maitreya continued.
the great sage Maitreya continued,
The instruction of Dhruva Maharaja's mother, Suniti,
the instruction of Dhruva Maharaja's mother Suniti
was actually meant for fulfilling his desired objective.
was actually meant for fulfilling his desired objective.
Therefore, after deliberate consideration and with intelligence and fixed determination, he left his father's house. So, what was that instruction? Were you here for that? What did she tell him to do? Do you remember?
To seek out the personality of God.
And
Suniti or
Suniti.
take to the forest and seek out the personality of God.
Yeah, and Surichi also told him to worship Krishna and take birth in her womb. So both his mom and stepmom told him to worship Krishna. Yeah. Both the mother and the son were lamenting Dhruva Maharaj as having been insulted by his stepmother and his father's not having taken any step on this issue. But mere lamentation is useless. One should find out the means to mitigate one's lamentation. Thus both mother and son decided to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord because that is the only solution to all material problems. It is indicated in this connection that Dhruva Maharaj left his father's capital city to go to a secluded place to search out the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the instruction of Prahlad Maharaj also that if one is seeking peace of mind, he should free himself from all contamination of family life and take shelter of the Supreme Godhead by going to the forest. To the Gaudiya Vaishnava, this forest is the forest of Brinda or Vrindavan. If one takes shelter of Vrindavan under Vrindavaneshwari, Srimati Radharani, certainly all the problems of his life are solved very easily. Pack your bags, Prabhus. Hare Krishna. Om Agyantimirandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksulun Minitam Jena Taismai Sri Gurave Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivashadi Gaur Bhakti Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchika Patirubhascha, Kripa Sindhu Bevacha, Patidanam Bhavani, Bhu Vaishnavi, Bhu Namo Namaha. So who here is afraid of public speaking? Raise your hand. If you don't raise your hand, you're giving the Sunday lecture. Are you raising your hand? You love to talk, right? Okay. The reason I brought that up is they say when you're speaking, you have to understand that everyone in the audience wants you to give a good talk. No one wants you to not give a good talk. They're all positive energy, wow, they're all sitting down hoping you'll say something good. Like that, so you should never be fearful of that. No one's your enemy. They're all your your cheering section, like that. They want to hear something good. So that energy, ride that energy. Don't worry about it. Okay. So I'm asking you to please cheer me on. Maybe there's something I can say that will help you in today's your devotional service today. Okay. And tomorrow's class, we're about tomorrow's devotional service. But maybe I can say something for today with your blessings. There's a lot to be said here. It's a good day for breakfast to be when it is. So, Prabhu says here that lamentation is useless. So when there's a problem, was it Henry Ford used to say, don't explain, don't complain, they say, don't complain, don't explain, whenever someone brought him a problem. No, do something about it, right? Don't complain, don't explain. Like that. So lamenting is useless. Prabhupada says here, one should find out the means to mitigate one's lamentation. Now it's interesting, there are some people who, they don't want a solution. They actually just want to lament. That's their happiness, some or other, just lamenting. That's called determination in the mode of ignorance, right there in Bhagavad Gita. Doesn't go beyond dreaming. There's a place called, what is that? What's that called? Someday Isle. It's a vacation isle, like an island. Someday Isle, like that. And people always think about, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that, someday I'll... They never get anything done because of the mode of ignorance. No determination. Determination in the mode of ignorance, like that. It just doesn't go beyond dreaming. Someday I'll, like that. So the point is, everyone's got problems and everyone's lamenting. It says in one place that the material world is an ocean of tears. Everyone's suffering. It's an ocean of tears. Everyone's lamenting. At every moment there's some problem. Dukkhalayam, asashvatam. Either it's suffering or it's temporary. It's always a problem. So there's no lack of lamentation. There's no lack of lamentation. Right? Even in the songs. Right? People lamenting. Oh, she left me, he left me. I wish she'd leave me. I wish he would leave me. Just always lamenting about every situation. Right? You turn on the news. They're always lamenting. It's all the problems. The material world is full of lamentation. And the problem is no one knows really what to do about it. That's the big problem. So many endeavors, it comes up over and over again. We're reading a little about Prahlad Maharaj here. But another verse of his is that there's so many problems in the materialists, their solutions are create even more problems, even greater problems. There's so many examples of that. So, fortunately, both mother and son decided to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord because that's the only solution to all material problems. So, and this is indicative of piety. To one to think, oh, let me turn to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In fact, of the 4 people who surrendered to Krishna or approached Krishna, 2 of them got a problem. Right? You know that verse? He's working it out. Arati? Yeah, so what are those 2 first ones? Need some help? The distressed and the desire wealth. I don't have any money to take care of things. Oh, I've got some problem. Right. Yeah, I know, but there's still the divisions there, right? I got a problem and I approach God. So that's piety. That's actually piety. Of course, the atheist will say it's a sign of some type of weakness, that you need some kind of crutch or something like that. Just wasting your time praying, building all these big churches and temples and mosques and putting all that money in the hundi. That money should be used for economic development. Like that. Why don't you go do something useful with all that money? Do something useful with your time instead of praying all the time. Why don't you do something useful? It's like that. As if their society has created a bastion of bliss and happiness and satisfaction, right? It's unbelievable how much the statistics are in this country and in the modern world of how miserable people are. And the symptoms of their misery is excruciatingly evident and painful and so on. It's unbelievable what people are being put through because of the modern atheistic view of life. So they're taking shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead to solve all the problems. Now, in reference, we're going to read something from the Bhagavad Gita, and we're going to read something from the Srimad Bhagavatam, which Srila Prabhupada refers to here in the purport. Now, the Gita verse isn't referred to, but since this is our primary scripture, the Bhagavad Gita, in the very beginning of the Gita, there's something about lamentation and confusion and a resolution in Arjuna's mind that, wait a second, I'm not going to be able to solve any of these problems unless I take shelter of your lotus feet. That is the 7th verse of the 2nd chapter. Karpanya dosha patha svabhava prachami tvam dharma samuda chetaha yatstreya shan nichitam bruhidam me shishasteham sarimam tvam prapanam. Now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple and the soul surrendered to you. Please instruct me. So there's a turning point in the Bhagavad Gita where Krishna, because Arjuna, he's trying to come up, he's there on the battlefield and he's so overwhelmed with lamentation and grief that his body's shaking. You ever been in a situation like that? Huh? I don't wish it upon anyone, but you're actually so overcome by lamentation and sorrow or whatever it may be, or fright, that you're shaking like a leaf, like that. Maybe you're passing stool and urine in your pants. I don't know. It's pretty bad stuff in the material world, what you're up against. So anyways, the point is, Arjuna, he was thinking this, I'm on the battlefield and I don't want to fight. I shouldn't fight. And he gave all these different mundane reasons. There's, I don't know how many, what is it, 5 or 6? You teach Bhakti Shastra. How many reasons did Arjuna give? 6? Just don't say that. You're a teacher. Everyone will accept whatever you say. He's instructor. 6. Very good. At least 5 or 6 different reasons. And from the mundane point of view, very good reasons. You know, about the degradation of womanhood and this and that and so many, and his respectable, his teacher, his guru, his grandfather, how am I going to kill them? So many different things. He's trying to wiggle out of it, trying to find a solution to his lamentation, but he's saying here, it's not working. This karpanya doshapata svabhava, I'm completely confused. I really don't know what to do. I can't see a way out. Like that. So this is actually very good for the devotees to always understand this, that Krishna sometimes pushes us against the wall, and there is no way out except to surrender to Krishna. And that's a good revelation. That's a very good revelation. There's no other way out. So that's what's happening here. Arjuna realizes with his intelligence, he doesn't have to go through all of this and then come back and tell Krishna, Krishna, you were right. I know you're all waiting here on the battlefield for 10 years while I tried to figure it all out. No, right away he could understand it's not going to work. The only solution, shishasteham sarimam tvam prapanam. My soul surrendered to you, please instruct me. And then the Bhagavad Gita is spoken. So here's a revelation here. And that revelation came again to Arjuna when he came back from Dwarka and understanding that Krishna had left the planet. That's seen in the first canto, end of the first canto of the Bhagavatam. Maharaj Yudhisthira is asking him so many different, he's hinting around. He kind of figure out why is Arjuna so despondent and this and that, and then finally to realize that actually he's despondent because Krishna has left. And there's one verse in there where it says that Arjuna once again took shelter of Krishna's instructions in the Bhagavad Gita to deal with his lamentation of separation from the Lord. So again and again, in this culture, the advice is given, take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a solution to all of our problems in life. And that's a very deep instruction. And sometimes devotee may have a problem and you go, well, Prabhu, just chant Hare Krishna. Well, on one hand, that's an absolutely good instruction. And we have to take some time, though, to delve into it and help the devotee surrender to Krishna and what that actually means and understand things in perspective. But it is true that when one takes shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, that is the course to become free from all of our problems. Now the verse referred to here in the purport by Srila Prabhupada is Prahlad Maharaj comes home from school one day and his daddy come up in my lap here. I guess kings do that with their kids, right? Dhruva Maharaja, come up on the lap here, right?
Most fathers do that.
Yeah. Not sitting on a throne though, but it's like, come on up. What'd you learn in school today, kiddo? Like that. And that's the best thing. You say, my dear son, please, excuse me, let me know what you think is the best of all subjects you have studied from your teachers. Like that. And then Sri Paladu-vacha, Tatsadu manye suryavarhidehinam sada samugdidadiyam asatgrahat hitvatma patam griham andakupam vanam gato yad dharam ashrayeta. It's pretty heavy stuff. Prahlad Maharaj replied, "Oh, best of the Asuras, king of the demons." Now, is that really an offense? Because to call Hiranyakashipu, "Oh, best of the demons," because he is the best of the demons. I wonder if it meant derogatory or he liked it. Hey, my son knows who I am. I'm the best of the demons, like that. Oh, best of the Suras, king of the demons, as far as I have learned from my spiritual master, any person who has accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety because of having fallen in a dark well where there's no water but only suffering. One should give up this position and go to the forest of Vana. More clearly, one should go to Vrindavan, where only Krishna consciousness is prevalent, and should thus take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It says here in the purport, Prabhu was saying that Hiranyakashipu was thinking that, oh, Prahlad is just a little boy. What's he going to say? What's he going to say, right? A little boy. Oh, what'd you learn in school today? He thought some cute little answer was going to come out. We learned about Mary had a little lamb, or 2 + 2 = 4, whatever. And then all of a sudden he replies like this. His reply is something like this. In other words, he immediately says, Dad, you're in Maya. You're in big Maya. Like that. You're a fool. And later on, at the last scene, when they're speaking, and Prahlad Maharaj is so bold, he goes, there are many fools just like you. Many kings and fools just like you who couldn't control their senses. Like that. Just going to hell. So he's speaking very, very strongly here, but he's making the point, that Prabhupada brings up in the purport, that if one actually wants to be, because saying here, any person who's accepted a temporary body and temporary household life is certainly embarrassed by anxiety. And he compares it to an andakupam. What's an andakupam? You know that? You know what those andakupams are? You got to watch out for them. Blind well. No water, you fall in, and it's blind, and no one knows you fell in. It's like, hey, where did Damodar Kumar go? He was walking down that field there in Vrindavan. All of a sudden he just disappeared. Where did Damodar Kumar go? He fell into this well. It was a blind well. There's no ring of stones around. It's just kind of abandoned. It's a hole in the ground. No one even knows it's there. And you fall in. And why is it so difficult? Because good luck getting out. Good luck getting out. Almost impossible. Almost impossible. So he's saying anyone who is trying to be happy in this material world, trying to deal with all their problems and so on, is actually embarrassed by anxiety. The material world is a very embarrassing place on both levels. On a very absolute level, for the soul, it's very embarrassing. When you realize, oh my goodness, I'm an eternal spirit soul in this material world. How embarrassing. Right there. It's so embarrassing for the soul to be stuck in this material body, isn't it? It seems this bag of bones, right? What is that verse about the tree? Yes, yeah, tree dhatuke. It's just a bag of mucus, bile, and air. How embarrassing, right? There. Just like, it's an example given many times, and it does happen. Especially in places like Pacific Beach and this and that, because people have dogs. You step in, what? It's pretty embarrassing. So you got all over the bottom of your shoe, and you got to clean it off, and it's very embarrassing. It's horrible. And the material world is much more embarrassing than that, because we're embarrassed because we're forced into the cycle of birth and death in very, very difficult situations. Not just humorous thing for our friends to laugh at us about or something like that. Like stepping a dog, you know what. It's a very, very unfortunate situation. And the advice is given, just give this all up. Tell his father, give it up. You're the best of the demons. You're the one who's tried more than anyone else to be happy in this material world, and you can't do it, so why don't you just give it up? You're so miserable. Just give it up, Dad. Why don't you go to the forest, just like Dhruva Maharaj. He's going to the forest. He says, and especially Vrindavan. I guess Prabhupada put that in there, right? Vrindavan. Prabhupada specifically Vrindavan, because for us that's what that means, taking shelter of Krishna, Vrindavan, taking shelter of Krishna, and all our problems eventually will be solved. It takes some time, because that endeavor means to become pure in our Krishna consciousness. But there could be a conversation here. What does this actually mean? Going to Vrindavan, you know? Does that mean we should all pack our bags and just move to Vrindavan and all our problems will go away? What do you think? You just came from the Dham. What do you think? If you just pack all your bags and move back to India, all your problems will go away? No. Like that. It's the Vrindavan consciousness. That's what we're after. Now, Dham, holy Dham, we have a holy Dham here. New Govardhan Dham. So Dham means wherever Krishna consciousness is practiced very enthusiastically, the association of devotees. In that type of a situation, one can very easily progress in one's spiritual life, and one's problems will go away. What does that mean? Problems never actually go away. Did you know that? Krishna says, "What prasada tarishasi?" in Bhagavad Gita. You cross over them. They don't go away. You'd be chanting Hare Krishna. Are you not going to die? Who's not going to get sick this winter? Is anyone sick already? Heard Dayanidhi coughing this morning. Anyone? No, I'm very Krishna conscious. I'm not going to get sick. I'm not going to get old. Anyone here not aging? Right? Birth, death, disease, and old age. Has anyone transcended those? We transcend them in our consciousness. But these are all going to be there. But we're going to cross over them. Like that. They're not going to affect the devotee, because he's always absorbed in his Krishna consciousness. That's the only solution, and the devotee becomes convinced of this. That's what it means to be advanced in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, we're always distracted. There's always something, isn't there? And that's what they call them, 6 whips of material existence, like hunger and thirst and this and that, and just like whack, 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 whack. One whip after the next, like that. No relief. And there's always something pushing, like that. And one's trying to deal with that. But the devotee actually really doesn't care. He has no real interest. And therefore, that's why devotees are always trying to minimize their material necessities. I've been listening recently to Srila Prabhupada's classes in the 5th canto of Rishabdev. Very, very heavy classes, all in Vrindavan too. Most of them in Vrindavan. Rishabdev's preaching to his sons, about the mind and this and that and renunciation, and very, very powerful, strong purports about, what's really going on in life, and renouncing everything and becoming his instructions to his sons. But making the point that devotees, they just don't have, they're very callous to this material world. They just don't have any plans anymore. And why is that? Because they're happy in their Krishna consciousness. And that's another verse by Prahlad Maharaj, isn't it? That the word is magnam, which means great. Like he's experiencing a great ocean of happiness. So for him, he has no distress, but he's concerned about the suffering of these jivas in this material world. They're suffering so much, but for him, he's just surfacing and diving in an ocean of bliss. Yeah. Yeah, he's immersed in Krishna consciousness. With devoted people, that's how a devotee is. So he has no problems in that sense. The problem is helping people become Krishna conscious. That becomes the problem. In fact, there's a purport in the Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada says that's the key to becoming happy. You know what it is? Yeah, controlling the mind. The mind. It's to fix the mind on helping other living and preaching Krishna consciousness, actually doing good to others. That's how you control the mind. That's how you make the mind free from all of its distresses, because it's always going to find something. The mind is trained to fix on something, like that. A problem. Oh, there's a problem. Oh, my goodness, there's a problem. I'm uncomfortable. I got to move a little bit. What's for breakfast? Is Santosh in a good mood today? Is he going to cook something delicious? What's going on? What's it? Anywhere sweets? The Dharmasetu take all the burfi. What's going on? Like that. Do I have to go on SanDiego today? Am I going to cut my head again? Shaving next time. Like that, right? You got a big Band-Aid on his head. What are people going to think about me walking around with this Band-Aid on my head? So the mind's always fixating on so many different things. But when the devotee is absorbed in serving Guru and Krishna, he doesn't worry about these things. They're not so important. And he knows it's never going to stop. And this Rishabdev, teachings of Rishabdev, is that verse there about the mind. It says, don't ever think the mind is your friend. Don't ever give it even one chance. Because just like an animal, the example is given just like an animal, you may tame an animal. And think, oh, this animal's my friend. And then you go in the cage and what happens? So many times these trainers and people like that. Was that a famous act in Las Vegas years ago? They're like these white tigers or something, and mauled them like that. And you go, oh, cute, cutesy, 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 and the tiger bites off his head, mauls him, something like that. So it's like that. You think the animal is tame, but it's not. It's an animal. It's always at any moment can go off like that. It can go off like that. So you have to be very, very, very careful. You have to be very, very careful of the mind. So the mind, to absorb the mind and always thinking of how to spread Krishna consciousness, how to serve the spiritual master, this is how the mind's actually controlled, and the mind becomes happy. It's actually a great joy to be thinking of the welfare of others, and which is Krishna consciousness. It's a great happiness. It sure beats the happiness of worrying about our own problems, right? And that's why devotees, we simplify our lives so we don't have problems, big problems. Because the bigger the arrangement we have in the material world, then the bigger the problems. Because it's a huge endeavor to maintain things in this material world, right? Just let's say you had a closet of 500 dhotis and kurtas. That'd be kind of hard to maintain, right? Right? I'm just saying, you have to get a big building next door. Oh, what's that house next door? Oh, that's Zach's dhoti collection. Then you got to pay for the rent to keep it. You got to make sure everything's clean. That's a funny example, but that's what's going on. People, I have a house here, I have a house there, I've got a wife here, and I've got a girlfriend over there, and I've got 15 kids, and I've got 4 businesses, and they're thinking, I'm very, very, I'm successful. But big problems of this happened, that happened, I got to get on the phone, I got to call this. Devotees keep everything very, very simple. And if there's a big endeavor, it's a big endeavor for Krishna, it's different. There's still anxiety, but it's anxiety for Krishna. And it's a different type of anxiety. So we can open it up because of the time. If there's any more discussion about the solution to all of our problems and what to do when there's lamentation and Vrindavan. So anyone like to say anything? Dr. Zach? You look like you're fidgeting your hand to...
I have one.
Hare Bol. So, just a little editorial comment. The word embarrass. When Prabhupada says that the living entity is embarrassed by the material body and so many things, he's really using a different one. It has nothing to do with that thing, oh my God, like blushing, something. The first definition is that, cause confusion and shame to make uncomfortably self-conscious. But the real one is 3 here. To put obstacles or difficulties in the way of, to impede, which is like maybe a different derivation, But that's what he meant when he mentioned here in this purport about embarrassed by,
we got all these problems.
Yeah.
Just burdened.
Yeah.
These burdens.
I mean, in addition, the physical body is also embarrassing. We know that.
Yeah. And all of this philosophy is quite revolutionary. It's very unpalatable to those in the material bodily concept of life. It's very, very unpalatable, and they don't appreciate it at all. The devotees are trying to escape. Yes, the devotees are trying to escape. We're trying to escape the cycle of birth and death. Like that. So, some comments, questions, revelations?
Is it on already? I was wondering about if you could talk about lamentation, how you're saying lamentation is the mode of ignorance. And I haven't heard a lot of people talk about our understanding of how lamentation is in the spiritual world or amongst devotees, and how that's not in the mode of ignorance, or if it's transcendental ignorance, or yes, there's spiritual ignorance or something.
Transcendental ignorance. I guess there is such a thing.
Like
in
how
a
are you
sense.
supposed to,
No, lamentation. What is lamentation?
Yeah.
Varieties of
You
lamentation.
don't consider all the bhajans, oh wow, Narottam Das Thakur's really in the modes.
Yeah, it's what is the object of the lamentation. There's spiritual lamentation, there's material lamentation. Material lamentation, you can say, is all in reference to our sense gratification. Loss of sense gratification, impending loss of sense gratification. We're lamenting. I want to have some kind of sense gratification. I'm having some kind of sense gratification, and it's been taken away. She left me. Like that. So many songs, she left me. He left me. Right? Boy, it's like every other song is that. He left me, she left me. Right? And but spiritual lamentation, in fact, I was just listening to a lecture about that. And Prabhu was saying, we can't understand that type of lamentation as long as we're in the bodily concept of life. How is the lamentation and feelings of separation, viraha bhav, actually high ecstasy? It's incomprehensible to us. It's actually incomprehensible, but it's the highest ecstasy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's teaching of separation. What is that? Yugaitam namishena chakshushapavishayitam sunyaitam. Jagat. Like that. The whole universe appears vacant because where's Krishna? Like that. Nayanam galat. Well, that's a different verse. But that yugaitam namishena. Like that. How is that possible? How is that the highest ecstasy? But it's the highest ecstasy. But Krishna is the center. The other type of lamentation, I'm the center. My sense gratification is the center. That's the difference. Like that. That's the difference. So lamentation is going to be. In fact, if you everyone in Krishna consciousness is lamenting. Here, Dhruva Maharaj has got problems. Prahlad Maharaj has got everyone. Just think about it. It's like the Pandavas. That's I think I mentioned this before. When Narada Muni went to the Pandavas, this is in the Brihad Bhagavatamrita, right? He goes to the Pandavas and he glorifies them. I forget who sent him to the Pandavas. Was it Hanuman? He sends them to the Pandavas. And he glorifies, and then Maharaj says, wait a second. He said, wait a second. You know something? We are so un-Krishna conscious and such a horrible example of devotees. Because you know why? Because just hearing about us and all the things that happen to us, people are not wanting to be devotees. Because I think, if I become a Hare Krishna, I'm going to lose everything, my wife's going to be taken, I'm going to be banished, I'm going to be, I got to fight a war. He said, people think, I'm not going to be a devotee. Just hearing about us, he's saying that. Because look what happened to us. We became a Hare Krishna, and boom, everything got lost. In fact, there's a nice song by Mangalananda, Hare Krishna Luck. Have you heard this one yet? It's one of the most recent ones. He gave me the CD when he left here after I performed the ceremony. And it's, it's about Hare Krishna luck. I became a devotee. He's singing, and all these things that happened to him. Like his first hit song, it was taken by a devotee. It was stolen by a devotee. And this happened, and that I had my car, and they took my car, and this and that, and all these different things. That's Hare Krishna luck. That's the refrain. That's Hare Krishna luck. Then his father wins the lottery. His father actually won the lottery, gave him all this money, bought a house in L.A., and then all fell apart. But it all comes back around to his revelation that actually Krishnas take things away, and also Krishna gives, and Krishna is very kind, and that's the real Hare Krishna luck. But it's kind of funny, he goes through all these things that happen to me, like, this is what I get for being a devotee. Everything gets taken away, and this and that, I'm miserable. So the Pandavas were saying like that. No one's going to want to be a devotee if they hear about us, because when you become a devotee, Krishna, everything just falls apart, your whole life falls apart. Like that. So it's interesting about the lamentation. So Lamentation is at every step. There's got to be some kind of lamenting. Devotees lament, oh, I wish I was more Krishna conscious. I wish I was more serious. So lamentation should be there. It's not happy-go-lucky. There should be some deep feelings of praying like that. Devotees are always praying. Please help me, Krishna. I wish I was more Krishna. I have no Krishna consciousness like this. But out of that lamentation should be born some enthusiasm for devotional service, not that we just wallow in the corner. Oh, what's happened to so-and-so, Prabhu? Oh, he's lamenting. You know, he's lamenting. He can't chant, he can't do any service because he's lamenting he's so fallen. We should never think we're so fallen that we can't do anything. No, we're lamenting, I'm very fallen, therefore let me do as much as I possibly can. That's the real lament, that's the maturity. Yes, I'm very fallen, I've got a long way to go, so I better get going. Right? Just like you ever get up late for Mangalartik? Does that ever happen here? What do you do when you get up late? I got to have 2-minute shower, zip that T-lock on, make sure you don't forget your dhoti, and run down the stairs as fast as possible, right? Right? Because you're late. So we're all late. We've all got problems, so we better hurry up. That should be that out of our lamentation. Oh, no. Because I was up there this morning about a few minutes before 4, and all these interesting alarm clocks are going off, and all these far-out sounds. I was thinking, okay, everyone's getting up. I guess it's a 4 o'clock wake-up. But no one was getting up, but I kept hearing the alarms going off. But everyone was here on time, right, this morning? Everyone's here on time. But if you're late, you're more anxious. That's the maturity. Oh my goodness, I got to do more. Instead of, oh, I can't do anything. Oh, I can't do anything. I'm so fallen, Prabhu. Maybe just give me some pizza or something. That's all I can do is eat pizza. Yes, Prabhu. Want the microphone?
So we hear about how Krishna takes away everything, and or can take away everything and leave his devotees materially impoverished. I'd like to give my testimony. When I first came to Krishna consciousness, I was a homeless person, and everything I owned was in my backpack. And all the jewelry I'm wearing right now was given to me for free. This bracelet was given to me for free. These khaki pants were given to me for free. This pair of sunglasses was given to me for free. I have a cell phone, an iPhone 5 in my pocket, which was given to me for free. I have a computer. I never owned a computer in my life. I came to Krishna consciousness. Someone gave me a free computer. My van was free. I have a Calvin.
Well, let's make a YouTube video and put that out there. Maybe make some devotees.
I have an expensive Calvin Klein T-shirt or dress shirt that someone gave to me recently for free. It's just like, so anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there. Krishna's very kind.
Very, very kind. May he bless you with pure devotional service also. Yes. Microphone?
The question about the lamentation.
Yes, very good question.
Hare Krishna. You go to Kunti's prayer. Vibhadaksanta Takshasvat. She goes through this whole series of things that happened to her and her sons, and it seems like so where is Krishna? He's so kind. But then at the end of the whole thing, she says, "Let them happen again and again, because by seeing those dangers, we'll see you again and again, and by seeing you, we won't." See birth and death. So the point is that lamentation, which is called Viraha Bhav, the great anxiety to see Krishna, that's what the anxiety really is. It increases the focus, the absorption in Krishna in that separation. If you're materially very comfortable, she has a verse like that. Aishwarya, what is it?
Janmaishvarya,
Shrudra. If people are in a very comfortable position, then they have good birth and wealth and education and great beauty. They can't call out to Krishna with deep feeling. In other words, in a materially comfortable position, lack of anxiety, you may be Krishna conscious, but it doesn't have the same kind of force and desperation which focuses your mind. And it's that absorption of the mind fully in great emotion that produces the ecstasy. That's the proportion. That's why Lord Chaitanya, he was mostly in separation at the end there. There'd be some meeting, and in long periods of separation and lamenting, and then they would console him with certain mantras and things to remind him of Krishna. So that's the difference. But in material side, it's just pure pain. I had my wife, I lost her, but the more I think about her, the more miserable I become. She's not present, by just thinking about her. That's the difference. Right? The material side, you have to have the senses and everything in the actual presence. So that's why I said in the Shochiti and the Kanchati, the Brahmabhuta on the material side is to rise up the desiring things, and at the same time lamentation, because you don't even want anything. But then real bhakti begins. Then you go through that, and you get to the point of extreme lamentation for where you don't have Krishna. But that's the source of the greatest ecstasy. It's like the old banyan tree upside down. That's my whole take on it. Sorry to step on it.
Yes.
Oh.
So you mentioned Lord Rishabdev, King Rishabdev, in the fifth canto. You had said that King Rishabdev said that we should never ever think the mind our friend. But can you talk about that in comparison to where Krishna says in the Gita that the controlled mind is the best of friends?
Yeah. Well, Lord Rishabdev, as far as advising us not to trust our mind, that means in the conditioned state. Until the mind is fully absorbed and purified, it's an enemy. I mean, that's what you just quoted Bhagavad Gita. The mind can be the best of friends or the greatest of enemies. Why? Depending on its purity or lack of purity. When the mind's fully cleansed of all accepting and rejecting sense gratification and this and that and the other thing, when it's was that Ambarish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padara Vindayo, also the song by Govinda Das. Bhaja Hure Mana Sri Nanda Nandana. That's a wonderful song. You can read that, learn that about the mind. This, that. So the mind says, what do you want me to do? Right? Family, this, that, miseries. Well, absorb yourself in the 9 processes of devotional service and you'll be happy. So, yes, you're right. But as long as the mind is conditioned, don't trust it. And Prabhupada, a few times in those classes, talked about that verse or advice by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that when you get up in the morning, you beat your mind with a broomstick, and at night before you go to bed, you beat it with a shoe. Or the other way around, I think. Is it the other way around? A shoe in the morning and broomstick at night, yes. Because I remember one devotee talking about in San Francisco in the early days when they first heard that, on the back porch they had an old shoe. And devotees would go out on the back porch and hit themselves in the head with a shoe. And they were always wondering, what did the neighbors think? Because every once in a while, a devotee would go out there, whack, 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 whack. Because Prabhupada said, beat your mind with a shoe. So, just how devotees took things in the old days sometimes. But the point being, don't trust the mind in the conditioned state of existence. But when it's fully purified, it's your best friend. Done. Is that it? Done? Took the microphone away from everyone? Got in?
No, I was going to say something, but
Okay. We can chant japa. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.